Hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to talk to you guys about my daith piercing today. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sure I'll put up notes all around like I usually do. But, I was thinking about when I first started experiencing headaches, and I think I experienced headaches as a youth probably more often than the average youth. I remember I used to bring medicine, like just over-the-counter medicine, to school every day. Like I had a little tin of medicine in my backpack, and I would always be the one like handing out the medicine to my friends who ever had headaches. But my first experience with a migraine was in college. In my college town, there were cornfields, and I was informed by somebody at work that, when they put the chemicals on the cornfields, as a crop dusting, whatever it is, that many of the residents will experience migraines or headaches. And so I just chalked up the few migraines that I had during the 2-3 years that I lived there to that. In 2004, I moved out of that town and the migraines went away. My migraines started coming back in 2013. That's when I learned that they may have been allergy related or related to the barometric pressure. I'm trying to just keep this short because I have there's a lot of ground to cover here. And then I remember the solar eclipse in August back in 2017. I had a 2-day migraine. It was the worst and longest migraine I had ever experienced. And then after that, they went away until 2019. In 2019, they came back, and I found that when they had come back, they were more aggressive and they weren't taking to the medicine well. And the only medicine I ever used was over-the-counter medicine. I look back now and I never really considered going to a doctor, so I guess that's kind of my fault. But I never, actually never considered going to a doctor because I figured these headaches and migraines were all manageable. I look back and I realized that, I was still able to live my life. There were days I was completely knocked down and I had to stay in bed all day. But I probably should have seen a doctor. That's still an option. If this doesn't work out as I would like it to, it's obviously still an option for me. So let's rewind several years back to an evening where I was out with my girlfriend, and we were at a restaurant, and the server came to us, and my friend asked the server about her daith piercing. And she said, "Did you get that for migraines?" And the server said, "Yes, and I'm so happy that I got it because it really helped with my migraines." And my friend said, "I'm really considering getting one for me because I have chronic migraines." So I always tucked that piercing, that form of piercing, in the back of my mind as something to help with migraines, not for me, but for my friend. I never ever considered getting it for myself. I didn't think I needed the piercing for migraines for me at all. Again, it never crossed my mind until Christmas of 2019. So on Christmas Day, we had a very late breakfast. It was probably closer around lunchtime. And then I went to take a nap because I had been up early with the kids opening presents. And when I woke up, I had a really bad migraine. And that migraine, so Christmas was on a Wednesday, right? That migraine carried all the way to Friday. And I remember I had to go to work in that afternoon on Friday with this migraine. And I was so frustrated by this time with the fact that this migraine and these migraines have halted me on living my life, being able to be productive with my job, being able to be productive at home. It has kept me from doing a lot of things I've just wanted to do. Why am I allowing this stupid pain to hold me back? It was the last straw. And then immediately I said, I'm getting my daith pierced, and I'm getting it done as soon as possible. So I talked to a friend who has had many ear piercings, and she referred the place that she goes to, and she said, yes, they are a little more on the expensive side, but I have yet to have had any problems with any of their piercings. So I went in January 5th and got my daith pierced. So let's talk about that experience. I thought about going through all the details of the experience, but maybe I won't. I think I'm going to spare you some of the details. So I'm just going to tell you this. And first and foremost, before you get a daith piercing, be sure to read up on information regarding daith piercings, like what you're going to experience and what you're going to go through, because that's what I did, and I'm really glad that I did, because I think I would have been far more concerned with the procedure as well as the healing process if I had not done my research. They almost didn't pierce my daith because, according to the lady doing the piercing, I had a very small daith, which I knew right then and there that this was going to be a very tough piercing. This is a very, very painful piercing as well, and a very bloody piercing. The lady doing my piercing said that I probably was the second most bloody piercing that she had experienced with a daith piercing, so maybe it's me. It could be because I had such a small daith. I have such a small daith. I only got one side done. I'm not opposed to getting the other side done. For now, I just felt the need to just do it on this side. No reason. I don't have migraines on one particular side. When I get a migraine, it's like all over. It's like a full body experience, and it's miserable. So I have been told that if you have migraines on one side, to get the piercing on that side. And I was also informed that if you get one side done and that doesn't work, try getting the other side done, and that might work to help with migraines. What they do is they push through a needle first through the daith, and then after that they fit the piercing through, and the piercing through is kind of like a horseshoe shaped piercing with two balls at the end. And I was told that putting the needle through was the worst part, according to the lady who was piercing me, and that's absolutely wrong. It is her muscling this piece of metal through this hole that she had just created in my ear. Painful. You will hear a crunch or a pop as they push it through, and for me, I had to hear that twice because she pushed it through and then she was having a hard time pushing it through the bottom, or maybe it was the other way around. Because it was such a bloody piercing, a lot of blood collected in my ear canal. I had a friend come with me and hold my hand because I knew it was not going to be an easy piercing, and I'm just somebody who, when I'm going to places that I know might be a little painful or might be a little uncomfortable, I always like to have that support and someone there to hold my hand. That's just how I am. This is something to consider, just to make sure, because I'm not sure. Anyways, I remember the lady putting the ball on the end of the piercing and immediately thinking to myself, I don't think she tightened it. But of course I trusted her because she does this a lot. And I cleaned out my ear there. There were some clots in my ear. And then my friend that was with me advised that we should probably get like a bulb, little like tiny bulb suction thing, and so we went to the store, we bought that, and then we just filled it up with really warm water, and I didn't stick it in my ear, I just kind of like splashed the water loosely into my ear canal to let the rest of the blood clots drain, and so that I could also hear better because I had collected so much blood in my ear canal. So that's also another tip. I did purchase their little cleaning kit, which was a soap and a saline spray for my ear. I started cleaning it twice a day, and then I moved to once a day, and now I clean it maybe every other day, maybe even fewer than that, because it feels pretty well healed. I also notice that the more you try to like dig around and clean it, the worse it feels, and the more inflamed it feels too. I think this is a piercing that's better left like untouched for the most part. It's just an interesting location for a piercing. Many times my hair will get kind of like coiled up into the piercing, and so I'll go to like pull my hair back and it pulls on the piercing, and that's not very comfortable. And it's hard to also sleep on it. It was hard for a long time for me to sleep on this piercing. Many times I would lay down on this side and kind of like hold my ear like this, so that I could lay but it not put so much pressure on my ear. It probably took a good couple weeks, maybe close to a month, before I could actually like lay on this ear. So one day I was cleaning my ear and the piercing fell out, and then I was reminded of when I thought the lady didn't tighten the piercing, so it fell out. But the great thing about it having fallen out was it really helped drain the piercing. This is it could just be me. I thought I was a pretty quick healer. Like, I heal pretty quick. I have a pretty high tolerance to pain, but this thing was an aggressive healing. Like I struggled with this piercing a lot, and I want to say I'm almost 5 months from it being pierced, and I feel like, I hope, knock on wood, that it's finally healed, but it was not an easy process. So when the piercing came out, it helped drain a lot of what was going on here, because it got to a point where, like, even touching this part of my ear didn't feel very good. This, like, just all around just felt like uncomfortable. It didn't necessarily feel super inflamed or anything. It was just uncomfortable, and it just felt like an open wound. So that's why it's important to keep it clean so that it doesn't get infected, of course. So when I had my friend put the piercing back in, we made sure that we tightened the balls really well, because I didn't want to have to experience that again, because it was really hard to get the piercing back in as well, because I don't know, like, if it was the lady who did the piercing, or if it's just the way it is. It's just a hard piercing to get in and out, because you have to kind of work through 2 holes. So when it comes to my migraines, I would say the first month after getting the piercing, I noticed that my migraines were just as often as usual, or maybe they were a little less often, and they were about half the amount of pain than before. So they weren't as harsh of a migraine as before. I felt like this time they were actually manageable. I would be able to take medicine, and it would really help the migraine. Every now and then I would get a real stubborn migraine, or so it felt, and while the pain was less, still no medicine was able to kick it, so I would just kind of carry that, like, that headache throughout the day. And then it seemed like after that month, they just kind of tapered off and went away. Every now and then I'll still get a headache, and it'll still kind of carry throughout the day, but it's not nearly as much as it used to, and thank goodness. And the pain is not nearly as unbearable as it was. Like, everything is manageable. So that's everything. That's my daith piercing story. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Oh, I was informed that you shouldn't replace the piercing until at least 2 months after getting it pierced. I'm now at 5 months, and I'm considering getting like a gold hoop, maybe. I'm nervous after it having fallen out. I'm nervous to I don't know, to try in case, like, I don't know, I accidentally like scratch it up in there and then it gets inflamed or something. I don't know. So I'm leaving it for now. But I'm really glad that I got it. Oh, I should probably mention this. After you do get the piercing, it feels kind of weird. Like this part of your ear feels very thick and heavy. And then every time you move your face, and it moves your ear, you will feel the piercing in your ear. So that is kind of uncomfortable. And you will probably feel that for a good 2, 3, 4 days until you get used to the fact that there's a piece of metal in your ear. So I would find myself like smile and I would feel it there, and it would make me slightly nauseous. So for the first couple days I was a little nauseous, just knowing that there was like a piece of metal through my ear that I could feel moving while I talked or while I made any facial expressions. So take note of that as well. Just take it easy on those days, I guess, if you're somebody who gets easily nauseated. But yeah, that is everything. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below, and I'd be happy to answer to the best of my ability. If you have had a daith piercing or are considering getting a daith piercing, also let us know down below. If you have any experiences that you would like to share, let us know down below as well. And I appreciate you, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.